Alright, the open forum. I got a list of a few things down here. First of all, I still can't get over the fact that because is not an ASL sign. Um, for all the years I've been learning sign language, I, I've been taught that sign. I've been seeing all the deaf people in my church use that sign. I guess it might be a local thing. All the deaf people in my church are ASL, and as far as I know, all of them use because. There's probably about a dozen of them uh, that attend our church, but I've been, I guess, if whenever I'm interpreting in church to the deaf people in my church, I can use that sign, but if I'm not in my church, I'll have to find a way around using the word because, and I've been trying to think of getting around a way to get around using that word, just in any given situation. Still haven't found it, but I imagine, I still got more than a year and a half left, so I should get it eventually. Then, um, something else I noticed a lot, uh, I wouldn't necessarily say a lot, a good portion, maybe, that might be a something better to say, of in linguistics isn't super important for interpreting, like the Stokey system, for instance. I don't need to know that if I'm just an interpreter, that's all. If I'm a linguist, yeah, that I would need to know that. Maybe not. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just going to drop that. Go back to my original thought. If I'm only an interpreter, I don't necessarily need to know the Stokey system. There are still plenty of things that are really good to know in linguistics. I'm not trying to complain like, oh, this class is useless. Why are we doing this? I'm just trying to say there are some things not completely important to interpreting, but it doesn't matter. Then there's just this little fact that we've been hearing again and again. ASL is in fact a language. Whenever I started learning sign language, that was one of the first things that I was taught, other than actual signs. ASL is in fact its own language. Uh, all the people that are saying it's not a language either aren't linguists. Well, no, that's probably where it ends. They aren't linguists. They have nothing to do with deaf people, deaf culture. They don't know ASL. They just look at it. Oh, you don't use your vocal cords. You don't actually speak, so therefore it's not a language. No, a lot of people have been calling people things without even knowing what the word means. Just making claims without knowing all the facts. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's just simply not true. ASL is, in fact, its own language. Excuse me. And then you have the 5 parameters for every sign. There's the hand shape, the movement, the orientation, location, and the non-manual signals. And each one of these 5 parameters is crucial to each and every sign. Because if you change the location, you have summer and dry. They're 2 completely different things. I mean, if you put them together in a sentence, yeah, sometimes during summer it gets really dry. But that's all. That's all. You can't put the 2 words separately, look at them, and be like, yeah, they're the same. No. You have to put them together in a sentence with multiple other words to make it make sense. Location is very important, as well as, what else was it? Handshake. Red, cute. Again, unless you put it into a sentence, oh, you look cute in red. You can't be, you can't take them separately and be like, oh yeah, they make sense. It's changing one parameter, more often than not, changes the entire sign. Then you have orientation. Soon, train. Again, sentence. Soon the train will be here. I did that backwards. Soon the train. You need to have each and every one of the parameters correct in order to, sorry, in order to give the meaning that you want to, in order to sign the correct word. The one parameter that you might be able to get away with in a few cases as the non-manual signal. Excuse me. But then again, that's not even a guarantee for every single sign. And you know, the 5 parameters, that's not exactly new to me, but it's something that in the back of my mind, as I was learning, it's like, yeah, I kind of knew about it. You know, obviously there are different hand shapes for every sign. You move signs differently. Some signs have the same movement, and some signs have the same orientation, and location, and all that fun stuff. But that's not something that I fully understood until this class. So that's something that I've also noticed. And then you have the 7 basic hand shapes. I was counting, sorry. You have B, A, S, O, C, 1, and 5. 1 and 5, sorry. It's pretty crazy to think that those 7 little hand shapes make up a good portion of sign, of ASL. Uh, you know, it's almost like how often you see the letter E whenever you're reading a book, if you think about it. Just how often each one of them are used, because they are one of the base things. They're basically, I guess you could say they're the vowels of sign language, in a sense. If that even makes sense. That's probably really stupid. But I'm too far into this to stop it and make a new video. Anyways, and then the last one I have is changing one parameter changes the entire sign. I actually got into this, so no, it's not the last thing. The basic hand shapes were. But I guess I can reiterate a little bit. Changing one parameter changes the entire sign. Summer, dry, changes the entire sign. You can't change it, expect people to think that's summer, that's summer, that's summer. If you change one parameter, you change the entire sign. Again, there might be the exception of non-manual signals, but like I said before, that's not a guarantee for every sign. But that's all I have for this one, and yeah.